CJ Marks here. Welcome to the Confidence Series. The introduction alone for this man could take 10 minutes if I tried to cover everything. Multiple #1 Billboard music achievements, successful tours to more countries than I can remember. The CEO of Royal Air Music Entertainment, International Media and Marketing. Oh, yeah, and he owns a basketball team, Akron Aviators and ABA. Hey, thanks for joining us, Brian Essince Collins. Pleasure having you, man.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Pleasure's all mine.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's just jump right into the first question. What is confidence?
Confidence is it's almost like an extreme trust. It's a belief, more than a belief, it's like a knowledge of your abilities or someone else's. It doesn't have to be confidence in you. It's confidence in a system. It can be confidence in someone else, but it's ultimately it boils down to trust and like unwavering trust and just knowledge that something will perform as expected.
Okay, thank you for that. Essence, for the uninitiated, uninformed, for those who may
Mhm.
not know you, please tell us a bit about yourself, your origins story, so
Sure,
to speak. Where'd you get your start, and how did you get to where you are today?
sure. So I'll start in Honduras. I was born in Honduras and adopted as a baby and raised in the Midwest United States. I was raised in
Okay.
Northeast Ohio. I, fell in love with music at a very young age. Music and sports, it's always been, basketball. I played basketball and volleyball in high school. I was a rapper, writing my own songs, and it really didn't hit me as more than a hobby until senior year when I started selling CDs
Hmm.
at lunch. And honestly, man, I got started because a friend said, "Hey, Brian, I'm putting a CD out tomorrow." And I said, "Oh, that's sweet, man. Like, I've recorded so many songs. Like, why don't I have a CD out?" So I recorded an intro and an outro that night. He was selling his for $3, so I sold mine for 2.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I burned 7 copies. I'm like, I'll probably sell 2 or 3,
Hmm.
and I sold all 7 of them.
Hmm.
So I went home and I burned 20. That should last me the rest of the week, around 7 a day, should be good. And I sold all of them at lunch.
Hmm.
And I went home and I made 20 more. And I sold all of those the next day. And I went home and made 20 more. And I sold all of those. Every day I brought CDs, I sold out. And I
Hmm.
sold over 200 just during lunch in the high school.
Yeah, that's those are numbers. Well
And
done.
that's when like everything changed. That's when it wasn't a hobby anymore.
Hmm.
I was doing school talent shows and senior night and all this stuff, and it was fun. But doing that changed the way that I looked at it.
Hmm.
It hadn't even crossed my mind that I could sell music or do anything. I was just making it because it was fun.
Hmm.
And that's when everything changed. When I went to school for audio production at Webster University in St. Louis, and it was a great program, 4-year, bachelor's in audio. And I plan on just kind of working in studios and things on the side and just doing my stuff.
Hmm.
And I started Royal Air my senior year. So I was recording like 4-song demo. I'll write your bio. I'll do your album cover. My roommate would take your pictures so people would have a full press kit when they left.
Okay.
And after a few of those, I realized, man, nobody knows what to do with this thing. They know they need one, but they don't know what to do with it.
Mm.
And it just kind of gradually grew from there. I was always able to volunteer to do things and learn and try things on my own, book my own shows. And other artists would ask me like, how did you do that? And it just kind of turned into a marketing company. Just, gradually, I was able to tour as an artist myself in Thailand, the Philippines, parts of the US, and of course, Japan, where we
Hmm.
met.
That's exactly, yes.
And it just kind of grew from there. I was able to learn more about the business side and help other people. And I still love, I haven't recorded in a long time, but I really fell in love with the business side of it too. I might put something out the next, who knows?
Mhm.
I haven't given up on, I don't want to be the performer anymore, but I do miss the creative outlet.
Okay.
Like making music was just fun for me.
Mhm.
But I enjoy being creative in this way too.
Mhm. Okay.
And I've grown and promoted shows, I've booked tours, I've traveled, I've spoken at colleges, I've taught at music conferences. I've won, a few awards as you
A
can
few.
see.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, I've won a few.
A few.
Yeah, and the basketball thing just kind of happened too. It was in like my 10-year plan that I wanted to get into sports in some capacity. And during an interview on the ECMD conference call that I co-host every other Tuesday with my mentor, Kermit Henderson,
Mhm.
someone from the ABA chimed in and just saying, "Hey guys, the American Basketball Association's still here. It relaunched in 2000. So just remember minor league sports. Not everyone can do the NFL, Super Bowl halftime show, but minor league baseball needs an anthem singer.
Yes.
There are, performance opportunities in sports." And I reached out and, we kind of formed a partnership on the spot of booking halftime performers and after game parties. And it just kind of grew. I did that for a year and they made an offer I couldn't refuse of owning my own team. And
Nice. Nice.
like one of those, man, if someone else had if I'd said no and someone else started a team in Akron, it would have made me sick.
Mm,
Like if someone had done it and done well, I would have like
mm.
I know I should have done it. And if someone did it really like did a terrible job, like I wouldn't have done it like that. You ruined
You
like the
messed it
chance
up for
here.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, signed the papers in shoot May 2017.
Okay.
Still going strong. 7 players signed overseas. We had the ABA reigning 3-point and skills challenge champion Malik Billingsley for 2 seasons.
Okay.
Um, it's fun. I've been expanding and growing and just learning along the way and just, music and sports kind of goes hand in hand and, you know, Asia's still a big focus. I'm managing an artist named Layla Capri and I'm just staying busy and trying to stay out of trouble.
You are well.
Trying.
You're definitely doing the latter. You're staying out of trouble for sure, and you're
Sure.
on the grind, brother. And
Yeah.
just a quick aside. I mean, of course, you know, and I know, but for the uninitiated, the ABA is major. A lot of folks
Mhm.
really need to know what the ABA is, the history of the ABA. I mean, a lot of what the NBA is now is because of the
Yeah.
ABA. The introduction of the 3-point
Yeah.
shot came from the ABA.
Yeah.
Just the fast-paced play. A
Yeah.
lot of what we know as basketball today, not just NBA but international ball, came from the ABA. So people need
Yeah.
to know that. Yeah,
There's actually a team from Japan. We've had the honor of playing them
that's right.
twice, the Shizuoka Gym Rats. So got to give a big shout out to my guy Takuya, who, they come to the US and they have like a tour.
Mhm.
They're here for a few weeks and travel around and play select teams. So for them to, we always take good care of our opponents, but it's an honor for an international team who could play anybody. They
Mhm.
don't even have to play ABA teams for them to, ask to come play us. It's an honor and it's so much fun.
That's fantastic. We're looking forward to getting that going again when
Oh
obviously
yeah,
when circumstances allow. So man,
absolutely.
that's a story you have, Essence. A story indeed, man. You've definitely been able to write your own book of life as you
Yeah.
see fit, which actually leads to my next question. Having a 9 to 5 job or a set salary position that provides a certain level of stability or comfort
Mhm.
for many people. As an entrepreneur, how have you been able to attain or have that same level of
Mhm.
comfort, stability, security without a 9 to 5 job, so to speak?
Yeah, I don't want to say the extremes of like feast or famine, but like there are times and you really have to learn to budget. There are times
Mm,
when, man, we're swamped and I've got a bunch of projects and clients. And there are times when, I didn't have anybody for a while.
mm,
and really learn to how to price things. I learned how to price the services and things that we do
Mhm.
with a minimum um, profit margin that I won't do anything below
Mhm.
now, so that whenever I do work a project, I know what I have and can I pay these bills with that, and it lets me know which projects to take on or which ones, how to plan and budget for it. Um, that's what a big part of it has been,
Mm.
really learning how to balance that in my time. That was also another thing,
Mhm.
especially if I'm working from home and I have creature comforts and distractions,
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, and I'm a guy, I don't always work to music, but I'll put on a movie or some cartoons that I've seen 100 times
Mhm.
in the background. I can't tell you how many X-Files episodes I've worked to, or episodes of The Simpsons, or, Lord of the Rings or something, like things that I've seen a bunch of times, but it's easy to get caught up in that,
Yeah,
and
all
it's
of a
easy
sudden
to
it's like, "Oh,
lose.
wow, I never noticed that before. Let me just
Yep,
watch." Yeah, I know how
yep,
it is.
yeah, so I had to really work on my discipline,
Mm.
and it's funny, I told myself, like, I'd just always work for myself, and even recently, like, I did some part-time things where I could kinda make my own schedule doing some retail work, the
Mhm.
past, few years ago, and that's when I fully went to just full-time self-employed,
Mhm.
and I just finished I said I'd never work for someone again. I gave a talk at the Ohio Media School. They invited me to come out and speak to their students, and they wanted to relaunch their sports broadcasting program,
Wow.
and gave me the chance to kind of rebuild the program. So, that was something that it just felt right.
Mhm.
I'm just doing that part-time, but, you know, helping rebuild that program and just the connections that I can get and the networking in the sports industry world, and helping kind of guide these students, and
Mhm.
it still leaves me plenty of time to do my own thing. But I think also, going back to your question, I think there may be a time when you have to think, does it make sense? Like,
Mm.
I wouldn't have just gone to any university and said, hey, I want to teach and work for someone, like, but a chance to kind of build an entire sports media program kind of with my experiences and goals in mind, it just made sense.
Yeah, there's certain things you probably wanna say yes to. That
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah, that
yeah,
was one
yeah.
of them.
That that's a good
Teaching,
call. Yes.
just 4 days a week, um, 4 hours a day. I'm out by 2 o'clock. I just, my class is from 10 to 2,
Mhm.
and it gives me plenty of time to, work with my clients and do what I need to do,
Mm.
and,
There you
help
go.
shape the industry here.
Yes. You touched on a lot of things that I've had to learn and still learning. When you choose to walk your own path, discipline, what you said, use
Yeah.
that very important D word, discipline,
Yeah.
and focus as well. So kudos to you on that, Essence. Excellent, man.
Appreciate it.
Excellent. Very welcome. It's not always easy. We both know that, man. And
Mm.
leads to my next question. What have been some of the biggest challenges, or maybe one thing in particular, particular story or incident that has posed a challenge, and how were you able to persevere and make it through that?
Sure. So, there are a few that really stood out.
Hmm.
And the one is one I touched on last question, is how to discipline yourself, manage your time, manage money, manage yourself, manage your thoughts,
Mm.
manage your energy, where it's so easy to get distracted and so easy to get so caught up that you don't realize, especially if you're so focused on your goal, it's so easy to forget how far you've come.
Mm.
So it's easy to get hard on yourself. It's
Yes.
easy to look at, and social media things don't help when you see other people, you know, doing things, or at least looking like they're doing things, and you're looking at yourself like, why haven't I reached end goal yet. And it's great to have something to look back on and remind yourself how far you've come, what your first project looked like compared to now, the first time you drew a picture to your most recent painting. Like you see the growth.
Mm,
Another one is to, one thing I had to overcome was, people being vocal and realizing and learning that people are going to use you and people
mm,
are going to say things about you, especially when you reach a certain level. And it's a growing process, like not to take some things personally,
mm.
especially in the comment sections on social media is like one of the ugliest places you can be.
Yes, it can
And
be.
man, you want to, you always want to defend yourself and your thoughts. And it can even be something like someone says an album that you liked sucks. And you're like, man, how do you not like that?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's hard to separate yourself. And that's been one of the biggest struggles, and I've dealt with that. I've had people lie about me online, and it's
Mm,
cost me business.
mm,
I've had people say things, didn't quite understand. And even our basketball team, there's some guy got drunk one night and gave a 1-star rating to our basketball team on Facebook,
mm.
and he went out of his way and just like said nasty things to everyone who supported and said nice things about our team. I'm like, yo, this dude's never even been to a game.
Mm.
And like, these are just things that you have to learn to live with. The things you have to learn not to take personal. And it's hard. And some days are
Yes.
easier than others. Um, but it's something that goes back to your first question, man, confidence. Like, you have to focus on the people who support you and realize that, not everyone's going to like what you do, and not everyone's going to even like your sport. Like, there are people who don't like basketball.
Mhm.
They're never going to come to our game. They're going to be, there are all sorts of things like that. But if you focus on that, it's just going to hold you back, and you're going to be fighting to try to convert people who don't want to be converted.
Mm,
So I think that's been the hardest thing.
mm,
It's all mental.
mm.
I learn skills easily. I can pick up languages and other things fairly easily. And especially when you're passionate and someone even just jokingly doesn't seem like they appreciate what you do, it's easy to get caught up.
Oh, yes.
But it
Yes.
goes back to the confidence and the focus on the positives. When I started looking at, I can't think of any successful people that haven't had like horrible things said about them and slandered, especially in the entertainment industry. I don't know of
Yes.
any successful people who on any given day you don't see something, people hate them or say something awful about them. It just comes with the territory. So
Yes. Yes.
it's
And
it takes confidence and belief and understanding in yourself.
perfectly stated, man. And something that I often say, but often enough, and definitely not looking to get religious here.
Mhm,
But what I often say is, most people, regardless of their religious dogma or denomination,
mhm.
they've at least heard of Jesus. They've heard
Yeah,
of Jesus. I'm like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Jesus was Jesus, and you see what happened to him. I mean, if Jesus
yeah.
didn't have the full support of everybody, what makes me think I'm going to have everybody's love and admiration all the time?
Absolutely,
Doesn't happen.
absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something I've brought up at conferences.
Yes.
And it's a tough question when people ask. The industry conferences always tell you you have to start in your city, and then you get bigger in your part of your state, and then your region, and then the country, and then international. Like, you have to follow this model or blueprint, and I disagree with that.
Mm,
I think there are some people who do very well in their hometown first, and they're hugely successful and they expand,
mhm,
and there are other people that don't, and
mhm.
they have to go somewhere else and come back because they're too familiar.
Yes.
And I always think about that, and I've cited that, story of Jesus. Like, he didn't perform a lot of miracles in Nazareth
He
because of that.
didn't. He
They're like,
didn't.
"Yo, you're the carpenter's kid. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna save me? You gonna fix my legs? Like, get out of here." Like, he didn't perform a lot of miracles there. It was the too familiar. So he went elsewhere. He came back, of course, but it's it's I'm glad you brought that up, man.
Yeah.
You know,
It's amazing how sometimes you have to get on somewhere else, as you said, and then
yeah.
come back home and people appreciate. Like, I was here the whole
Yeah.
time. Y'all didn't
Yep.
appreciate it. I
I
left.
always believed in you.
Yeah. Which which leads to my last question, man. We've definitely talked about some of the adversity and
Mhm.
how to persevere. But as you know, if it's all hard, no one's ever going to do it. There's definitely been
Sure.
a lot of rewards. What
Yeah.
have been some of the rewards along the way for you, Essence?
Like the easiest ones, of course, you could say the physical awards or accolades. Like those are nice.
Mhm.
Like it's cool. It's nice to look up at things on the wall and even just to remember past projects, see stamps and passports and things like those are always cool.
Mhm.
But it's the intangibles. It's the relationships.
Mhm.
Like I was looking at the flyers from Sam and Dave's show that you booked like
Yes. Oh
not that long
man.
ago and thinking that like
Wow.
here we are, man. Like here we are, with the
Yeah.
beats and miso shirt and everything, man. Like,
Yeah.
being able to keep in touch after that. How many people in their own city do a show and don't talk to the promoters or the DJs or the fans after that show's over?
Mhm.
How many people have come to Japan and done shows and like, cool, thanks for the show, and like if they even say thanks and for us to be able to still be here and keeping in touch, man, is really cool.
Yes. Yes.
With Alex, I've still talked to him sometimes, and I went back to visit. Shoot, it was 2011, I think was last time I was there, and I
Mhm.
stayed with him for a few days, and visited another friend in Tokyo area, and that, man, it's so cool to you know. That's one thing I love about the internet,
Mhm.
being able to keep in touch with these people, and like even people I haven't done any business with or worked with again. Like I don't really care. Like, of course that'd be cool.
Mhm.
I'd love to, but just the relationships. I think that's been the best part of all this.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I definitely would agree with all the things we do because we do it for the people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we do the accolades, the accomplishments, the write
Hmm.
ups. It's about the people, those human
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
man, this has been great. Before we wrap it up, and you and I are definitely gonna have to chop it up when we finish this Q&A session,
Absolutely.
catch up on stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Homie Alex beats and me. So, hey, but before we go, this or that, pretty
All
simple.
right. All
Five
right.
questions, this or that, A or
Okay.
B, no elaboration, just this or that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Let's do it.
This guy is a wrestling guy. We both are actually. So the first one's a wrestling thing. First, this or that, New Japan Pro Wrestling or AEW.
Oh man. Dang, you got to give me the hard one.
Oh, it gets harder.
Oh man. Without elaboration, right? I'm
Without
gonna
labs,
go.
just this, yeah, this or that.
Oh man, that's hard.
It is.
I'll go AEW.
Okay, all right. Second,
That was
second one's
hard.
the second one's
Ooh.
maybe easier. All right, second one's maybe easier. All right, Mr. Entrepreneur, suits and ties or jeans and a t-shirt.
Jeans and a t-shirt.
I figured that was easy. All right. As a person who reads a lot,
Mhm.
third, this or that.
Okay.
Reading paper books, like actual reading physical books, or reading electronic books.
Paper.
That was quick. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fourth one, meetings online or meetings in person.
In person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The last, this or that. And this may be challenging. I don't want to mess up any business. So if this last, this or that is compromising the business thing, I'll change it.
All right.
Akron Aviators. A lot of folks watching this may not realize that two of the best basketball players in the history of basketball currently playing were both born in Akron. They were born in the same hospital, actually.
Yeah.
So my last this or that question: LeBron James or Steph Curry?
I gotta go. LeBron.
All right, there we go. This or that. It's pretty simple.
Ooh, some tough ones, man.
hey, I mean, you can
Those are
have
some
them.
good
So
ones.
it's cool.
Yeah.
No problem. Essince, brother, this has been a pleasure catching up. And we're definitely going to chat somewhere after this. But before we
Absolutely.
break out, man, any things, I mean, there's a number of things you can promote or in any way for people to get in contact with you, any information you want to put out to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm available. I'm pretty easy to find online. Essince, Essence, Royal Air Entertainment, HEIR. Big shout out to Layla Capri. We just finished a brief Midwest tour. She and I were in China together touring for a couple weeks. You know, we definitely got to get out your way. But her new project, Unicorn Season, will be coming pretty soon, finishing it up.
Okay.
Go Aviators.
Excellent.
And thank you, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Hey, people, this is an amazing individual. As you said, you know how to get in contact with him, follow what he's doing. He's not just great unto himself, but he's great for other people. It's definitely helped motivate me. Essince, it's been a pleasure, brother. We'll definitely catch up again soon. CJ Marks, the Confidence Series. Y'all look after yourselves well and travel safely. Peace. Question: How did your time as a U.S. military Marines pilot, the training that went into that, how did that help you prepare for a career as a commercial airline pilot, Jay?
Okay, that's easy, man. Like, I mean, you know, the military, we train, right?
Yes.
So it's training. The Marines, and people don't realize that the Marines have airplanes.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we've got infantry, we've got tanks, we've got artillery, but we have helicopters, we got fixed wing cargo.